Inside Politics, our guest today, Larry Woods, Democratic analyst, and Bill Phillips, Republican analyst. We're talking about the 2022 midterm elections coming up in about a month. Gentlemen, for both of you, the question is, if Donald Trump, will he still be the leading presidential candidate for the Republicans in 2024 after the midterm elections, or has his brand sort of been damaged on that? And Larry, I think I'll start with you first.
I think the answer is yes. I think Mr. Trump has such a base of support that's always going to be for him no matter what, that if he can get any independent type votes, he's going to keep moving up. So, yeah, I'd have to say he's bound to be the Republican. If he runs, he's bound to be the Republican candidate for president.
You agree, Bill?
Not totally. I think he will be number one right after the midterms. Basically, they don't have anybody else. The Florida governor has his own problems at the moment, so he's having to be distracted.
Larry,
but I'm not convinced he'll be the nominee yet.
Larry, in terms of what's going on with DeSantis down in Florida, he may have the biggest test that any presidential candidate has had before he became a candidate. How he handles what the disaster that's happened down there with the hurricane will pretty much tell us whether he's going to be a viable candidate or not.
I agree. What he does right now or in the next month or two, I think, will determine that.
Bill, Governor DeSantis has also been one of these Republican governors who've been sharing the wealth and sending a lot of the migrants that have come there up to other states and blue cities that don't have as many. At least they say they don't. That's been called a stunt. There is some legal action going on with that. Is that going to work well for the Republicans? Has it stirred up their base? Has it sort of become what they were looking for to sort of counteract? It's a different issue, but counteract what was going on with Democrats being all fired up because of the Dobbs decision about abortion by the Supreme Court?
I think in the long run, it's going to backfire, at least some, if not totally, and be seen as a stunt. And remember, where they're sending these immigrants is where all the blue-collar votes are.
To both of you, will both Donald Trump and Joe Biden be the candidates for president for their respective parties in 2021? And if not, who might be the nominees for those parties?
6 months ago, I would have said both of them are going to run, Biden and Trump, in 2024. I'm not so confident about either one of them right now, today. Certainly, if President Biden does not choose to run, I would expect him to support Kamala Harris, and therefore that would make her the front runner. If Trump should choose not to run, I'm not really sure who would be the front runner if he made that announcement in the next couple of months.
Bill, what are your thoughts?
Well, I, again, agree with my Democrat friend here, Larry. I'm not so sure they will be the candidates. But Mr. Biden, if he doesn't run, his president did not endorse him when he was trying to seek it the first time. So I'm not sure she has a lock on it.
You're probably right.
Larry, before we start talking about 2024, we've got what's going to happen after the 2022 elections. If the Republicans retake the House, is that the end of Joe Biden getting any legislation through Congress? And if that's the case, won't he be a lame duck 2 years before he ever even starts to think about 2024?
Pretty much. I mean, if he can't control passing his bills in the House, I'd say he's just not going to get anything passed except where both parties agree, and that's a rare circumstance these days.
Bill, the GOP House leaders are already assuming they're going to take over. They're measuring the drapes up there in some of the offices. They indicate a lot of things they want to do when they take power is investigate the Biden administration and also to impeach Joe Biden as president. Is that kind of political tit for tat? You impeach my president, I'll impeach yours?
Unfortunately, impeachment has lost that air of mystery about it, and now it's just something you automatically want to do is let's impeach the president no matter who, and that's very, very bad for the country.
For both of you, will Donald Trump be indicted before the November election by either the Justice Department, the officials in Georgia doing the election down there, or anything else he's being investigated about? Is that going to happen before the election, or is it going to wait till afterwards if it happens at all?
I think the Atlanta grand jury will indict a large number of people in the next few months, and I think one of them will be Mr. Trump. I know this DA in Fulton County. Listen, she's aggressive, she's tough, and she's smart. I think there will be a series of indictments out of the Atlanta grand jury.
What do you think, Bill?
I think there's going to be a series of indictments, and it will include the former president. I don't think it'll be before the election because it's too easy to say, well, that's just a political stunt.
For both of you, at this point, if Donald Trump's indicted for any time, before or after, does this help his? Does this fire it up? Does it fire up his base for him for 2024, or does it begin to signal the end of the beginning for him?
I think we could all three write the statement Mr. Trump will make the morning after he's indicted. It'll be an attack.
Witch hunt.
That this is a witch hunt, that they're framing me, that they're whatever.
Yeah.
Now, one group that has done quite a bit, I think, in impacting President Trump's ratings and things like that, has been the January 6th committee. They were supposed to come back. I mean, all summer they had great hearings. They created a lot of big news stories, and there was something every cycle they had one. They were supposed to have one this week. Did it seem odd to you that they said the hurricane was the reason they weren't going to do it? Have they not had a chance to assimilate? They said they have an avalanche of new evidence. Have they trying to figure out how to fit it all together? Because they only got a limited amount of time to get this done.
Yeah, their time's running out to get to whatever conclusion they're coming to, and I think I would be surprised if they came up with major new evidence at this point. I think we've all heard most of the testimony or summaries of it.
Bill Phillips and Larry Woods are our guests on Inside Politics. They're two great political analysts. We've been talking about the 2024 election. We've talked about 2022 is happening in November for the midterm elections. Back to continue our conversation on the other side of this break.
Want